What if you could harness the combined power of every major AI model out there? Imagine GPT-4, Claude, and more, all working for you right at your fingertips. Sounds unreal? Well, I did it. I built a copycat of Poe without touching a single line of code. And I'm about to show you live how I pulled it off. Let's dive in. First, we're going to start out with a cheat list of items that you need to keep in mind. Number one, the first prompt is usually make or break. Number two, if you hit a wall, hit the rollback or restart. Number three, try and provide even the slightest code snippet and API key at the very first prompt. 4, send screenshots of errors if you can. And 5, if you have no clue how to call a service, use and always try to start with Perplexity. All right, let's build. So the first thing that we do is we go to Perplexity and type in, I want to implement Open Router API in a web application so that I can dynamically call different models. I want to be able to call OpenAI GPT-O, OpenAI GPT-O Mini, Llama 3.1, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and Mistral model, and Grok. And then an important line, how would I implement this via code? Give me the basic setup, model configuration, and main implementation. Step number 2, we go over to Bolt.new, put in the prompt, I want to build an application that lets me chat with multiple large language models. I want to be able to select from a few different models that when I click on, will let me send that message to that specific LLM while allowing me to have a continuous conversation throughout. I want to use the Open Router API. Here's some documentation for your reference. So now I'm going to go back to Perplexity and I am going to copy all of this down to the bottom right here. Now I'll go back to Bolt where it says basic setup, paste. Cool. Now that should have everything in there. So when it gets done doing all that, then I am going to say, here's my API key. So it has my Open Router API key and enter. Let's build. All right. So here's the first version, GPT-4, Claude 3. All right. So let's do that. Tell me a story. All right, lagged a little bit, but cool. So let's do tell me a joke. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make everything up. Ha 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 ha. All right. Tell me a joke. Claude 3. Why can't a bicycle stand up by itself? It's too tired. Cool. All right, everything looks good, except there's a few different things I want to add on here. So I put everything is working properly. However, these models are not configured correctly. And so this is what I put on what they should be. These are the corrections. Grok wasn't showing at all. So let's hit enter and see what happens. All right, back. This is the new interface. Hey, I like that even more. That's actually quite impressive. All right, let's test it out. Tell me a joke. Okay. Grok. Give me a story about the Cuban Missile Crisis. In the early days of October 1962, the world was cool. So now what we want to do to make it even more look like Poe is we want to type in a question, but we want that question to be answered by multiple long language models, just like Poe. Let me give you an example. So when you go over to Poe, you type in, give me a line from a movie that is really funny. Well, it answers it right here. But then you can answer it in web, you can answer in Mistral, you can answer in Claude. So like right here, it's the exact same question, where you're using a different model. Here, exact same question, different model. So what we want to do is we want to be able to replicate that feature as well. So I screenshotted this, went back over to Bolt and basically wrote a prompt that said, great job. I want to now add a feature that allows me to resend the last message I provided to a different LLM to simulate how that same message would yield a different result with the new LLM. Reference the screenshot I attached to see what I mean. When I send a message and receive a response, it could allow me to resend that original message, but to the different models we have access to right now. And then I attach that screenshot. Click here. All right, let's test it out. Tell me a joke. Awesome. Compare it with Gronk. Claude. Great. I love it. So now I want to add another thing. I put amazing job. Now let's add a typing animation whenever the user is waiting for a response. Just like Poe. Tell me a joke. There we go. Nice. So I want to ask two things of it, and it's important to let it know that it is strictly just aesthetic and that it has nothing to do with the functions, because we don't want it going back and messing up the whole back end things. So the two things I asked for, which is make the name of the app Brett and make a homepage that looks like this. So I created a homepage on Canva of what I wanted to look like. I attached it. All right, back again. I had to make a few renditions of it. It wasn't coming out like I wanted to, but I definitely like this version. So let's go from here. Click start. Perfect. Moves it right over to there. All right, let's test it out. Tell me a joke. Wait for it. Let's try Llama 3. There we go. Gronk. That works great. Tell me a short story about the first election day. And let's go to Claude. Beautiful. Llama. Okay, and let's see if we can get it with a llama. Tell the same story. All right. And there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, that is looking really good. All right. So we are on the home stretch. The home page works. I like the design. Everything works. The different language models. Everything is good to go. So now we're going to do the final step, which we're actually going to deploy it live onto the internet. So on the top right, we hit the deploy button and let's go. All right, so it shows that it's deployed. The screen is blank. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but this is the actual live link. And this is where I can go and actually claim it and make it mine. So let's go to the link. Let's go live and take a look. This is a link you can see right up here. Get started. All right, tell me a joke. Whoops. A jock. Minstrel. That works. Cool. So now I want to say, tell what is the best way to get ahead in life? I'm going to hit llama for that. What a great question. Here are some timeless tips. Set clear goes great. Let's see what Claude says about it. And that's their answer. Awesome. So everybody, there you go. I just recreated a brand new version of Poe. Everyone, thanks for watching.